What is going on, fellas? And welcome back to Robot Rescue with me, FoggyPlays on FM 22. Today is the end of season review, and probably the two games we'll play in the Europa Conference League, whoever we're playing against. But I was looking at some of the teams that got knocked out in the Europa League, or into the Europa League from the Champions League. I'm kind of glad we got knocked out. Could have drawn Bayern Munich or Manchester United. It would have been a hard time for us. But irregardless, we're still continuing our European journey. And we're going to have a look at any of the transfers that we do leading up to the start of the season. Unless the video ends up being ridiculously long, and then I'll cut it into pieces. But if you do enjoy this episode, do make sure to leave a like and subscribe. The algorithm needs help. So, jump into the video. Right, so as I said, in the season review today, it was not our best season. But then again, it was our second season back in the top division, and we somehow managed to win the league last year when we really weren't expected to. According to this, we only won the Irish League Cup and the President's Cup. We also won the Munster Senior Cup, so take that with a grain of salt or a pinch of salt or whatever the saying is. We won 3 trophies, not just 2, and our signing of the season was Fabian, who the board are quite happy with. Onofriti got an A-. Mulder didn't really play too many games, but that's, because he arrived with 4 league games left. Pakpi got a B-. Tunde they're not overly impressed. To be fair, I've not been overly impressed with him either. Quite happy with Carlsberg, Bonini. I'm actually surprised that they're giving these such high ratings. I was expecting quite a number of them to be less than ideal. League-wise, the one that has qualified for the Europa Conference League, we unfortunately did not. They're very upset. But you can see the amount of competitions we played in. It has been quite the season. Our biggest win came against Athlone in the Cup. Match to remember was a 5-0 against Sligo when we still had Ali Gilchrist before our season started to derail quite significantly. And our goal of the season was Gilchrist against Treaty. But everything has increased, which is delightful. Our sponsorship is up significantly. Broadcast revenue is up significantly. Corporate and hospitality also significantly up. Competition prize money, 8.86 million. Last season, 350,000. That is quite a significant jump. And our match day commercial and retail has also increased, which is fantastic. All I'm hearing is money, 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 money. The biggest short seller was Whelan, Emran, Farnberger, Albrecht, and Onofriti, which that's pretty tasty if I do say so myself. Interesting best 11 has Hakkinen and Gilchrist at the back, Norstrand, Cerbelli. I'm pretty sure we didn't have Cerbelli for we did have him at all this season. I'm not sure. This doesn't really work. Whelan didn't make it in, even though he had 50 goals. So we won the manager of the month for May and July, but our fans player of the season, Kevin O'Connor, who is our only remaining team leader. Young player of the season obviously was going to be Ryan Coleman. Signing of the season, as we've seen, is Fabian, and goal of the season went to Ali Gilchrist. Top goal scorer, Colin Whelan with 50. Most assists, Kevin O'Connor with 17. The man, the myth, the legend. Probably not going to be first choice next year. He also had most player of the match awards, highest average rating, and the best pass completion per 90 minutes was Cathal Heffernan. Competition awards, Colin Whelan got top goal scorer in the league, and Kevin O'Connor won the player of the year. And we broke some records with Colin Whelan scoring the most goals by player in a season, and the most league goals by player in a season, and the most goals in a match. Kevin O'Connor broke the assists. Prince had 14 clean sheets. For the amount of times I complained about him, he's actually not that bad of a goalkeeper, but still, I'm forever going to be probably ripping on him. We have already signed a new goalkeeper, just to keep adding to the fact that we have just lots of goalkeepers hanging around. McNulty retired, so we replaced him with a younger Brazilian goalkeeper. But the most player of the match awards in a season is now Kevin O'Connor. Worst discipline was Raheem Coleman, 25 yellow cards, 2 reds, commitment. And Kevin O'Connor was our oldest goal scorer, 28 years, 137 days. We were as high as third, ended up finishing fifth. So the overall best 11 does have Colin Whelan in it, as you would expect. Gordon Walker, Ali Gilchrist, still there, Sir Belly. And it's David Harrington, who at Treaty managed to finish bottom of the Irish playable divisions. Jonas Hakkinen is in there, as is Dylan McGlade. How's Dylan getting on? 1 game for Salford. Jesus. Not been a great time for him, unfortunately. So next season they want us to play defensively solid football, counter-attacking, entertaining football. That didn't work this year, but it had an awful lot to do with the fact that we had so many problems with keeping centre-backs fit. They want us to sign players to sell for a profit, maintain the club's status as the most reputable team in Ireland. They want us to qualify for the Europa Conference League and work towards... Can I negotiate that out? Let's negotiate that out. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. I apologise. We'll leave defensively solid football. It's the one thing we failed big time this year. So what do they want us to do? Qualify for the Europa Conference League. So let's discuss that with the players. I'm going to say we're going to aim for the title. Players seem happy. Nobody has had anything to say about that. That's brilliant. Reach the Europa Cup 2 proper. Give us a good account of ourselves. It's just what I want to hear. We'll give them some promises. Younger players, everyone's delighted except Norstrand and Gluson, 2 players who are potentially at best backup players. It's made the club atmosphere fantastic. Team cohesion is almost perfect. Managerial support is quite high. Don't care about that. We had such an amount of injuries. He was the most injury-prone player at the club. Oh no, Freety, 5 injuries, and he was here quite a short amount of time. Reece Griffin must be injured. We're not back till the 22nd of January. So that must mean that the Europa Conference League games aren't until January time. That's grand. That is fantastic. Gives us plenty of time. As you can see, we lost 3-2 to PSV. We were 2 down, and I said, fuck it, we'll go attacking. And it worked, but also conceded a goal. But the Gakpo goal was a free kick that was given away rather foolishly. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Farnberger that gave that away. So that wasn't ideal. But team cohesion, club atmosphere, managerial support is quite high. So hope we can keep it at that for now. We do have a couple of players that are after coming in on trial. One up by Waterford. Marcello Pitaluga, the ex-Liverpool goalkeeper, has joined us. We did consider signing him last year. We decided against it because we brought in Pridut, who ended up being pretty shit. So yeah, we're going to be back in the next part of this episode to find out who we're taking on in the Europa Conference League. Because that'll be an interesting endeavour. If we have a look at some of the teams that got knocked out. Okay, Tottenham, Maccabi Tel Aviv, Galatasaray, Astana, Celtic are out. West Ham, us, PAOK, and Fenerbahce. But as I said, the Champions League had some exceptionally strong teams that got knocked out. Porto, Salzburg, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, Man United, Leipzig, Benfica, and Rangers all dropping down to the Europa League. I'm glad we're not facing any of those teams because I don't think we'd be able to do anything against them. Actually, I haven't even looked to see what teams we could be facing from the Europa Conference League. Sparta Prague, Wolfsburg, Young Boys, Qarabag, Trabzonspor. We should be fine. Apollon Limassol won their group and we beat them comfortably. Ozajek, Stana Liège, and Farvar. I think we could actually have a decent time of making it through to the next round. Because I think that's who we'll be playing. But we'll have to find out in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Hopefully, it's not going to be an insane time where we get drawn against young boys, or we probably get full spark. We'll probably get full spark. So don't go anywhere. Sit tight. Right, fellas. So coincidentally, almost perfectly, the season starts after the first Europa Conference League game. I keep forgetting the name of that competition. So we're actually going to be playing those two games in the next episode. But we've had a somewhat busy transfer window. As you can see, Cian Murphy has decided he wants to leave again. I really don't understand this man. He's constantly wanting to leave and then wants to stay and then he wants to leave and just can't make up his mind. Dundalk offered 61,000 for him. That's the only offer we've had so far. So I'm hoping that he'll change his mind at some point and he'll just continue playing as a backup striker for us. A bunch of players we had. These 4 players were going to go out on loan, but for some reason they took so long that the transfer window closed for transfers in Ireland. So Irish clubs to Irish clubs, which is quite frustrating because we only have affiliates in Ireland. But we have, as I said, made some transfers. Most importantly, we've made a loss at the moment. Gordon Walker left for Derry, which is interesting because he was struggling to get his game in the first division for Finn Harps, and Derry came along and we're like, here, we'll give you 40,000. And I was like, sweet. So he's gone. Probably come back at some point because he has been here previously. Rhys Griffin went out on loan to Wexford. Mikey Dolan has gone to Longford because nobody wanted to buy him, so they're paying £95. And I think they're paying some of his wages. Richie Logbottom has come back to Finn Harps, where he had a productive season, 24 appearances, so can't complain about that. Eunice Cargbo, not going back to Wexford because he's been replaced by Rhys Griffin, but Cargbo is gone to Treaty, so he's staying in Munster this time. Pridut decided that he wasn't happy at the club anymore, so I transfer listed him. Nobody wanted to buy him, so he's gone back to Romania on loan to this team. Matalul Buzua. Whoa. Sweeney was a 5-star goalkeeper. He's gone to Cove and he's going to be their first choice, so they say. And Adam Dehad. Oh, this French guy. He is so infuriating. We had to register a team for the Europa Conference League. Forgot to bring him into the first team. He was still in the under-19s when I registered them. Threw up a stink. And then 28 players agreed with him. So I had to get rid of him because he, regardless of what I did, he was pissing everyone off. I think there's still like 9 players that are unhappy. Cathal Heffernan, obviously, is against him because they play in the same position. But Northstrand is one of the players that supports him, as does... Colin Whelan doesn't support him anymore. Fantastic. Onofreti does that. So we have a couple of players that are a little bit pissed that he is not in the European team. But if we go here, Wexford or Waterford are going to pay 100,000 if he plays 10 games, which is delightful because even though he's valued at 400,000, nobody wants to buy him. So important players that have come in. We have signed Osman Altin from Magdeburg, as you can see. Quite a good tackler, very determined, and has pretty good physicals. It says here is a 3-star centre back. I think he's a bit better than that. Has only played 8 games for Magdeburg before he was sold to us for 110,000. I think 10 grand of that is if he plays 50 games. No, yeah. Well, no, we paid like 40,000 up front for him. Some of it's over like 3 years, and then if he plays 50 games. Peter Ryan was released by Shamrock Rovers. He is our new 5-star potential goalkeeper who's actually currently injured, which is not ideal. Marco Nasti was released by AC Milan. This guy is just a decent striker option. He is currently 4th choice, which, but he's still young. He's like 20. Yeah, he's 20. I don't think he's ever going to be exceptional. We could make some money off him. And Lee Kineen has joined. He is still in the under-19s. I'm going to give him a bit of time down the under-19s to see how he gets on. Signed him from Gloucester for a whopping 25,000. Wasn't going to play in the Vanarama National. Or sorry, Vanarama North. So, not throwing him in straight away, but he has some potential. Mentally, he's meh. Technically, he's okay. He's quite a good passer. For this, I was going to say for this level, but you see, we're a European team. Physicals are meh. Nothing to write home about. Any players released? Mark McNulty retired, and he's our goalkeeping coach now, so he is quite happy with himself. And Isa Karagbo has been released as well after another attempt at playing for Cork City. I don't think he's meant to be. We did sign ourselves a new director of football from China. Pretty decent director of football, if I do say so myself. We did have Brian McBride, who was our old director of football, come in and applied for the job. Then I stopped the job hunt for a director of football because we were just getting people who wanted like 5,000-6,000. I was like, we can't afford that. So I waited a little while, set it back out again, and Brian McBride was the first name on the list again. I was like, dude, I sacked you because you were looking for too much money. We've also had to get ourselves a new chief scout because Vincente wanted like, was it 1,200? I was like, I am not paying 1,200 for a scout. So we brought Brian Carey in instead. Used to play for Cork City. Started his career here. Never actually played a game, I don't think. No. But went to Manchester United. So we made a bit of money off him. I'm bringing him back. We are playing Trabzonspor in the Europa Conference League as well. So don't expect us to get too much further than we currently are. We did manage to survive the draw against teams such as West Ham. Wolfsburg, which is the team I thought we were going to get, but Tottenham were also an option, which was terrifying. But Trabzonspor, I expect them to do pretty good against us. I know I said it a lot, but I don't think we're going to be able to beat them. We did get a budget of around $1 million. It was 1.9 or something. The wage budget went up to 34.5, we'll say. So we had a bit of an increase, but we haven't spent a huge amount of money. We do have a very strong under-19 squad at the minute. Peter Ryan is, I was going to say he's the only goalkeeper. He's not, because Tobin didn't get to leave. We have had our training facilities increased to average, and our youth facilities are up to fairly good. But we also have our youth facilities being increased again. And this one's costing 2 million beans. So, decent amount of money. The board are disappointed with our inability to play defensive football. I did just remember we had more transfers here that didn't go through. Marcello Pitaluga. I don't know that I think I showed you him. I think he arrived before the end of the season. He's come in as a backup option, I guess. Philippe Couch is a Bosnian striker who was released by Hajduk Split early last year. We had him in on trial at some point. Decided we didn't want him at the time, but we brought him in now. He's our second best striker, so we'll have to see how he gets on. And Chaim El Jabali, ex-Leon central midfielder, who's pretty good looking. Nothing exceptional, but pretty good all round. So I'm happy with that. Was there any other sales we needed to talk about? Anthony Glennon, you already knew he was off to Bohemians. He is gone. Joe Brian Whitmarsh gone to Drogheda. Kind of curious to see how these three get on. Oren Turner and Barry Coffey. We didn't release anyone. No. Okay. So that is all the transfers that we've done, and this is how we're going to be laying up for the first competitive game of the season, because we did play quite a number of friendlies. Drew 3-3 with Man United. Luke Keane came off the bench, so I'm guessing he's delighted that he left now. He's not getting first team football. We did lose to Wexford, but a fairly strong side. Maddie and Prince didn't have the best of times. Wasn't ideal, but this is how we're going to be lining up for the first game. We do have quite a number of suspensions, which is disappointing. And we couldn't register that many players. I should have probably registered Mulder for left back, but I'll just leave Kevin run around for a little longer. He's down to 2 stars now. Just isn't ideal, but sometimes star rating doesn't make much of a difference. But we're going to be without our starting right back and our best centre back because of suspensions. So, as I said, decent amount of cash. Oh no, I pressed the wrong one. We do have a week left in the transfer window, but we can sign players from different countries, hoping that we can pick up a couple of more players. We do have club atmosphere is average at the minute, but that's because Dahad. Number of players aren't my biggest fan, but it's fine. We've made a couple of players unhappy. Tunde's unhappy because we didn't play him in the role we said we were going to play him in, and Cian Murphy, I don't know what's going on with him. He's just completely. I don't think does he like me? We're very close, but he just thinks Adam D had been treated unfairly. It was originally 26 people, which that's quite a number of players, and it was only 2 players that disagreed with him, and there were 2 players to play in his position. But with all of that being said, we're going to end the episode now, and I'm going to record the Trabzonspor games. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can smash it and get through to the next round. I would love for us to make it even just to the next round of the Europa Conference League. It will be fantastic. So if you have enjoyed this episode, do make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, I'll catch you in the next one.